All right, people, we're back. I just got done about 5 minutes ago putting on 2 more full wet coats of paint. Now, I'm just going to let you know, we are not going out to the paint booth to look at the car due to the fact that I will lose Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi out here is very shitty, and I'm hoping that I'm coming through to you right now, actually, to be honest with you. So let's get back to the situation. So what we got here is I went ahead and put 3 full wet coats on there. And before we go any further, I'm going to let you know this is a very high-end black. This is not just painted solid black. Let's see if we can go find a flashlight. We're going to go over here. Let's get a flashlight because I really want you to see this. I don't know if it's going to show or not, but we're going to check it out and see. And one more thing I want everybody to know. I'm sorry, son of a bitch. My phone almost fell. One thing I want everybody to know is you don't need a high-tech paint booth to get an awesome paint job. I'm actually painting these parts right in here. And before I had my paint booth done, I actually painted 2 cars in this room that turned out to be show quality jobs. So don't let anybody tell you you can't do it, because you can. All you gotta do is learn how to get the proper ventilation, keep your heat at the proper rate, and it will happen. Okay, so let's get back over here. I got a flashlight, and I don't know if you can, we're not gonna be able to see. You're not gonna be able to see the pearl. It looks more like dirt. Okay, well, anyway, this is a very high-end pearl paint job that we're looking at here. So to paint this on there, you really need to know how to lay the paint down. And this goes back to the spray gun situation. With all the conspiracy theories out there about spray guns, a lot of people think they need the best spray gun in the world. You don't. All you need to do is learn how to set your spray gun, open your patterns to the proper width, and overlap your patterns, and you'll be fine. Let's get on with the video because I got work to do. And okay, hold on. I'm trying to, okay, there we go, right there. Okay. All right, so we're gonna get on with the video, and I'm gonna go ahead and put my camera right up here. Let me get that done. Hang on a second. All right, so I'm actually setting my camera up because this is where the trick is, people. Okay, can everybody hear me out there? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. I need to know to make sure this microphone's working. If you can hear me, that would be great. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know. I hate doing videos and there's no... Okay, yeah. All right, yes, thank you, Mike Owens and everybody else. David Reed, okay. All right, what we're gonna do is I am going to show you the situation. So I went ahead and I applied 3 full wet coats of paint. Now before that, I put a full wet coat of black epoxy primer. All right, which is right here. And if you can't see my face, follow my hands, because I can't see the back of my phone. So, when I applied that epoxy primer, and I am a thoroughly sterilized, 100%, it better be clean, or I'm not painting it guy. I washed that thing down with water. I washed the whole car inside and out. And then once it was in the paint job, in the paint booth, after it dried, I went ahead and wiped that car down 100% thoroughly using automotive white balls and wax and grease remover. So once we did all that, I went ahead and applied the epoxy primer, and you won't guess what happened early this morning and what I've basically been doing all day. you got it, fisheye in the fucking epoxy primer. Now, this ain't the first time this has happened. This is like the third time that this has happened with the epoxy primer only. So what I ended up doing is I had to block sand that. I want to show you this. And just to let you know, I ain't bullshitting. Okay, let's walk over here. Because you definitely don't want to get fisheye in a custom paint job like this. But you can see, look at how black this water is. Okay, look at all the tools that I've been fucking with all day long. Block sanding that fucking car out in the paint booth. So you can see just by that ugly ass water that I've been working my ass off, busting my ass all fucking day. I actually started on this at around 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock this morning. So yeah, it was a real bitch. And then of course I finally got it done. Let me try to set this. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and leave it right there. All right, so then I finally got it done. Is my microphone still working? It's almost time to change that battery out. So we finally got all this sanding done. We busted our ass, and then I had to reapply the epoxy primer. Now, I don't know what the situation is because I never ever get fisheye, never. I have a $1,800 water oil trap system in my paint booth room, and I am very, very careful with everything I do. So I don't know what happened, but we're gonna try to bite the bullet on that and see what the fuck's going on with this situation on this epoxy primer deal. But anyway, I went ahead and I put a full wet coat of black epoxy. When you're painting a super dark color like black epoxy, like black paint, or kind of like the Mercedes-Benz that I painted, or possibly even the Mustang that I just got done with, when they're super dark colors, black epoxy is the way to go. So remember that. So, now that we've covered all that, and you know what my story's been all day, let's move down the line. I was telling you about the system that is called a double clear job. Now, this is something that I use. There's a lot of people out there, they will literally take the clear coat, just like this. They'll take the clear coat, and they'll spray 2 coats of clear, wait several days, wet sand that down with 1500, then spray 3 more coats, color sand buff. Number 1, you're wasting your fucking money. Number 2, you're wasting a lot of time and energy. And number 3, the situation is you're using the wrong fucking product. So we're going to go ahead and put the clear back up here because that's something that we're going to use tomorrow. But what we are going to use tonight is a product called Deltron DBC 500. This is a color blender inner coat clear. If a custom painter is going to do multi-layers of custom work, they will use this in between the layers of paint that they are laying down. This protects the paint, yet it also is a clear coat that you can color sand all the way down to, I would say 1,000, all right, to remove and eliminate orange peel, trash, or anything else that you might get in that paint job. And you can bring it all the way up to 1,500. I don't go any farther than that. When I do this job, 1,500 is the maximum I will sand it. I see a lot of people that ask questions. How much, what should I sand my car to lay down a slick paint job? There's people out there telling them to go ahead and use the 3M DA wet sand pads, the 3,000 and 4,000 wet sand pads. That's fucking ridiculous. The surface is so fucking slick, the paint won't have anything to grip to. When I paint a car, the maximum I will go to, and this is the maximum, is 600 wet. Normally, I sand to 320 dry, and bam, it's fucking paint ready. And if I do a wet sand job, I normally do 400. But in the case of the Volkswagen, when we had all the fisheye action going on, I went ahead and did 600 on it. Now, another problem you have with epoxy primer is when you run into issues like that, epoxy primer is not designed to be sanded. So it's a very meticulous and time-consuming job. And you got to change your paper continuously because the paper will gum up even if it's wet. It gums up and it's trash. All you're doing is putting scratches. So I probably used on that Volkswagen, and it wasn't the whole car, it was just spots here and there. I probably used 15 sheets, 12 sheets of sandpaper, full sheets. Because if you don't do it right, you're going to have deep, deep scratches, and then it's really going to look like shit. Back to the situation. If you notice this name, it's Deltron. All Deltron urethane paint products is a 1-to-1, 50-50 mix with urethane reducer, okay? Right here. So when you mix this up to spray, now you don't want to do nothing to the parts that you painted. You don't want to wipe them off. You don't want to touch them. You don't want to do shit. You go straight into this right here. I'm going to mix this up, and I'm going to show you how to put 2 wet coats on it. This stuff dries very quick. It has a consistency of lacquer paint, and it's very, very high end. Now, there's other companies that make this. House of Color is one of them. I don't like House of Color. I deal with PPG. But the House of Color, if you can get the House of Color, then use the House of Color. But me personally, I don't like mixing brands. The only thing that I will mix from the brand of PPG is my clear. Okay? Universal. Do you see that? Universal. That means you can use this clear on anything. Urethane. And the reason I use the Matrix, the main reason is because PPG is so outrageous on price, I can't afford it. I won't make any money. And I don't want to pass that cost to the owner. And the way that I paint cars with the Matrix system, the MS52, my paint jobs come out beautiful and last forever. I've never had anybody come back and say, my paint job looks like shit. So we're going to move down the line here. Now, I'm going to put 2 wet coats on there, and you're going to see me do it. And we're going to go really quick. The way that you apply this, you don't go real slow like you would do with clear. You want to go at a medium pace. You want to keep it going. You want your gun about this far away, and you want to go ahead and make sure that you cover everything. Let's go ahead and mix this up, and then I'm going to show you what's going on. So we're going to go ahead and take our clear, and you can see how thick it is, very, very thick. And then we're going to go ahead and get our medium reducer. Okay, let me explain something to you. You do not want to use hot reducer with this. You want to use medium reducer only. You want it to flash and dry quick. And since I've been having a little issue with the fisheye action going on here, I want to cover my ass. So I'm going to take a capful of fisheye eliminator and pour that into my clear. Because until we find out what the fuck's causing this fisheye around here, I got to be able to cover my ass, and I'm passing on to you a situation that you need to cover your ass as well. Binks number 7. Remember that. Okay, so I got one complete quart mixed up. You saw how I mixed it 1-to-1, 50-50. Using a House of Color product or any other product like this should be the same mixture ratio. Should be a 1-to-1 mixture on this type of situation. Now remember, this is an intercoat clear. And one more thing that they use this for, this is what they use. If you buy candy apple paint, for instance, the candy concentrate, this is what they mix it with. All right, this is what they mix that with, and that goes with House of Color as well, or any other brand. They use a color blender, not binder. It's a color blender. This is also a product that you would use to blend paint. I don't do it that way, but a lot of people use this when they blend paint from, let's say, the quarter panel into the door or the quarter panel into the roof. They will take this and spray a coat on there because this will actually color sand and buff out. Now, the reason I don't do that is because if you don't clear coat over this and you just want to use this clear only, within a year, it's going to peel off, it's going to flake off, it's going to look like shit. And that's one reason I don't like candy apple paint. If anybody knows anything about candy apple paint, they're going to know that the sun deteriorates the color. Candy apple paint is only used on show cars. It's not an everyday daily driver situation. And one of the reasons is because of this right here. People do not know how to apply it properly. They don't clear coat over it. They think that the candy apple is the clear, which it's not. And if you don't seal that in, like I'm going to do tomorrow, and I'm going to turn the camera on, you're going to see, then your paint job's going to be like shit. So I call this the double clear job. And yes, I do charge more money for this. This is a lot of extra work. I have to clear coat it twice. I have to color sand it twice. And it's just a lot of work. So yes, anybody out there that's wondering, it is an extra charge. And I pass it on to the owner of the car. If they want to, they can. If they don't, then that's fine. You're going to see a big difference, I'm going to tell you. So let's get over there, and I'm going to go ahead and spray that. And let's get her done. Watch close how I apply this. That's the real deal here. Watch how I do this. Okay, we're ready to go ahead and apply the other coat of clear. Bam, bam, one right after another. And then this thing's gonna be ready to color sand tomorrow to apply the 3 full wet coats of the urethane clear. And you're gonna be amazed when you see it. All right, we're gonna come over here and kind of get a gander, see if we can. Well, you really can't tell. This is very, there it is, beautiful paint. All right. Okay, let's set that right there. All right, so what you just saw, I just applied 2 full wet coats of the DBC 500. Now we're gonna let that dry overnight, possibly maybe for 2 days, depending on the weather. More than likely, that should be dry tomorrow and ready for color sanding, and that's when we're gonna come back to this little video set. I wanna take you through the whole steps of this double clear job, and I want you to see how beautiful this paint job is going to come out. This is Pete, my friend Pete, your friend Pete over here at Southwest Rod & Custom, my friend Pete YouTube channel. Give us a thumbs up, support us, check out the merchandise shelf above this, or actually below the video, above the first comment, and support my friend Pete. It's Christmas time. Get somebody something, or possibly buy yourself something that says, I support DIY Auto School, my friend Pete, Southwest Rod & Custom. We'll see you later, and have a great night. See you in the morning or afternoon. Take it easy.